Hey everybody, how you doing? So this video here is a general course overview of what we're going to be looking at this year in Canvas, which is our new learning management system here at the high school. It's being used kind of all over the nation at this point, but it's what we're going with. So we're going to talk about how the course is kind of set up, how to use Canvas, and how we can kind of use some shortcuts to make your life easier whenever you're at home going through all this stuff. Because this year is going to be very different with dealing with COVID and everything. We're not going to be here in the school every single day. Some of you might not be in here at all if you're doing full cyber, and we'll just have to kind of play things by ear as things go along throughout the year. So let's take a look at what we're looking at here in this course management system. Right now, I'm kind of in my teacher edited mode, so I can see a lot of stuff. But let's go into student view here to actually take a look at what you'd be looking at. So when you log into my physics classroom, the virtual 226 as we're calling it, this is what you would see. A few things on this homepage here is I got the link to the current unit posted right up top. Below it are Zoom links for the morning class. That's if you're in period 3 or 2-3 if it's a lab day. And my afternoon class, that's period 9-10, and then period 11 if you have the lab day, you're double. So the Zoom links are here. And we'll talk about those a little bit more in a second. We've also got some helpful class links underneath it for YouTube, Twitch, and Google Drive. So let's just take a look at what a module would look like for a unit. So if I open up a unit module, and I'll open that up in a new tab just so we can kind of see it a little bit easier. So right now what you'll be able to see is Unit 0, the prologue. This is because, school hasn't really started yet. It's the first few days. And we've got a little discussion here for introductions where, you're learning a little bit about me and introducing yourself. And then the shortcuts plus how to use Canvas, which is literally what you're currently using. So if you've stumbled upon this, you've already probably messed around with this module stuff a little bit to take a look at what's going on here, okay? So you can see what's currently in the modules. Later on, we'll have more modules. Unit 1, Math Tools, is just an example of that. In it, we'll see unit videos, which go out to the YouTube page. Any spot where we're submitting practice work, we'll see some submissions there. And then if we've got like a little quiz or something, I call them little cues, they'll pop up here as well. We'll take a look at these individually just in a moment. So one of the main things that we're going to use here, if we go back to our homepage, is a lot of the course content videos that we have for the class are actually already put up online on YouTube. So if we click on this YouTube link here, the Coach Botzer YouTube page, we can go out to the Coach Botzer YouTube page here as it loads up. And there are a ton of videos that I've made. Some of these I've made years ago for other classes. Some of them are funny videos where I'm singing songs. And some of them are videos that I've been creating all summer in order to prep for this upcoming year to give you as much content and as much free time as possible as you're trying to do all this work. So there's a ton of videos here, and they'll just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But all the videos list here. Okay. Now what's nice is that if we go back into the modules, so we're back in the Unit 0 or the Unit 1 module, we'll see we've got the Math Tools YouTube videos here. If we open this up, it will take us into the entire playlist for Unit 1. So here are all of the videos on the Coach Botzer YouTube for everything in Unit 1. And this is every single topic in Unit 1 in existence that you can go down and view. Some of these are the notes. Some of them are practice problems. They'll say practice problems. If you see any videos in here that say private and you're like, I can't watch this video, what the heck? That's because it is a practice problem and I'm asking you to do it to try it out. I haven't released it yet for you. And that means until I release it, you can't watch it. So that's why, like, for some of these practice problems, I can see them, but you can't. You'll be able to see them whenever I release them to you. Okay? But, here's all of the videos for this unit, and there's a Unit 2, and a Unit 3, and a Unit 4, and a Unit 5, and they're all here, all in order that you'll need throughout the entire year. Okay? So this Coach Botzer YouTube page is super helpful, and it's super easy to get to just from the unit videos. When we are doing practice problems, the way we're going to be submitting a lot of stuff this year is we're going to simply do it on a sheet of paper. Like you're going to pull up the problem, whatever it is, pull out a sheet of paper, and just using a pen or a pencil, just literally do the problem on a sheet of paper, just like you normally would, just like if we were here in the classroom together. And then take your phone, take a picture of it, and then we're going to be uploading those pictures to me. Canvas actually makes it really easy not only to upload pictures, but to provide feedback to whatever you're doing. So it's a lot easier. If we take a look at what this submission would look like, complete the metric problems, and while you can type your answers out, it's way easier just to do it on paper. And then to submit it, we'll just click up here to the submit assignment. We'll be able to choose the file, so whenever we upload that picture, we can upload it from our computer. We could do a text entry if we wanted to, if you wanted to type an entire physics problem, which is a nightmare. Or you can find it on your Google Drive if you've got things listed there. Okay. So there's many ways to upload, but you just upload that and you're done. I know a lot of my students last year when we were using Google Classroom, instead of Canvas, they were able to upload no problem, made life very, very easy. Okay. So that's how we're going to be doing a lot of stuff this year. Just take pictures and upload it. And last but not least, we've got little questions, quizzes here. We just click on them, they'll open up, you answer them, you submit them. It's nothing crazy there. Okay. Now, in order to get to our notes and our practice problems, let's head back to our home page here and take a look at where we can find all of the content information that we can physically manipulate and write on throughout the year. And a super important link for us is going to be the class files via Google Drive. If we click on this, we will open up a Google Drive it's a folder directory with all of the content for the entire year in it already. So we can see up here, this is Unit 1, Math Tools, and then Unit 2, Motion Quantities and Motion Equations, all the way down to Gravity and Planetary Motion. And if we open up one of these folders, and they all look the same, we'll see that we've got notes, objectives, and practice problems. Now, our notes could be in one of three ways. Most often, we're only going to see two different versions of the notes. We're going to see PDFs because they can open up on your phones or your Chromebooks or a computer, a Microsoft computer or an Apple computer. They'll open up on everything. Or you might see it as a Word file for some of you that have word processors at home. Every once in a while, you might see one as a Google Notes, like a Google Drive file, a Google Doc, but they're not formatting very well, and it's causing things to kind of shift around and make it cluttered. So you might not see those as much as the PDFs, which will always work, and the Word files. You might also see some PowerPoints in here. If you see these PowerPoints, I'm going to be using that PowerPoint in a video, and if you watch one of the videos on YouTube, you don't actually need to look at that PowerPoint because I'm literally walking us through it. But if you want it to have it or save it for later, I don't know, maybe you become a physics teacher one day. Go ahead, steal it, keep it. You're free to download all of this stuff into your drive to make it your own. But I might be tossing more stuff in here as the year goes on just to give us some more content as we need it. We also, if we go back a directory, we have an objectives folder. And these objectives folders are real nice because the objectives literally tell you what you're going to be learning throughout a unit and what you are required to know and understand. So they're split into two sections, the C's, which are your core content, the things that you need to be able to do this. And you're expected to do this whenever you leave this room. And then extended content, which is like, great, you got that, that's awesome. That here's like a core content plus just a little bit more. So you know exactly what's coming to you whenever you have a test or whenever we're doing a topic. Okay, and if we look at C1 here, it's converting measurements between units using any of the common metric prefixes. So millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers, whatever. Now, a great thing about having these objectives as well, PDF and doc, is that these objectives correspond to the practice problems. If we open up the practice problems here, we'll see that the C1 problems, metric conversions, are going from like millimeters to centimeters, from milliseconds to seconds, from kilometers to meters. Okay, they're just exactly what the objectives said that they had to do. So whenever we have an objective, that's what we're seeing in our practice problems. They're the exact same. Now, something that is very, very different about this physics class that you're taking this year compared to a lot of the classes that you've been taking your past 10 or 11 years or 12 years if you were in preschool, is that I'm actually, for the most part, giving you the answers to these problems. Like, all these things up here, the answers are just down here. Like, you know the answers to begin. What the heck? Why would I do that? Isn't the whole point to, mark things right and wrong and give you grades. No, that's not the point of this. The point of this is to learn physics, to learn and understand what we're doing. And how could you understand if you're sitting there trying a problem and you're like, I got a number. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if it's wrong. So I'm giving you the answers. What I'm really asking you to do, and I've always asked this of my students, is to try things out, okay? Like actually try these problems out and then compare your answers to the bottom. If you got it right, awesome. That's amazing. If you got it wrong, that's amazing too. But we just got to figure out why you messed it up or what were you thinking whenever you messed it up so that we can change that thought, so that we can make sure that you're properly understanding and you're getting something out of this class. Otherwise, it's going to be 180 days of a waste of your time, right? So I found that giving you the answers is actually extremely helpful for your learning, because I'm not learning this stuff. I'm trying to help you. So try the problems out, check them against the answers, because you have the answers. And then, if you got them right, great. If you didn't, let's figure out together where the issue was so that we can work through that, okay? At the same time, that also means, as you're doing some of these problems down here or later throughout the year where there's some more complicated math and there's a few steps to it, if you're just providing me the answer, yeah, I'm not taking that. Like, show me some of your work here. For this first unit, when we're just converting things, that's not really a big deal. But later on in the year, we're going to be drawing pictures and diagrams and arrows all over the place and then moving this around and taking this equation and throwing it here. If you're just like, the answer is 17, well, yeah, there's a little bit that went into that. So actually try this stuff, okay? I am 100% confident in each and every one of you that, as we go into this and as we get better and better at it, you will get stronger and better at this, and you'll see improvement in your physics learning and in your math learning as well. So please actually attempt this stuff. Do your best. It's totally okay if you get stuff wrong. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you out, okay? That's my big message. That's the number one thing this year. Try your best. But yeah, so we've got our practice problems here. We've got the objectives, and we've got the notes. And just a quick show of the notes. Here we go. Here's the notes for Unit 1. They're kind of skeleton notes, so some stuff might be missing here and there. I go through that in the videos, so if you want to fill it in, you can. If you want to print these out, you can. If you want to download them and write them over them as PDFs, you can do that too. It's totally up to you, okay? But everything's there. And it's like that for every single unit. So that's in the Google Drive. We get to it using the class files via Google Drive, and my phone is ringing. So give me half a second. Ta-da! Okay. So a few other things to look at here. We've looked at the YouTube, we looked at the Google Drive. Quick note here, here's the Coach Botzert Twitch page. If you're familiar with Twitch, people live stream on this all the time. We're not going to live stream for the class on this. This is just something I do in my spare time for funsies. Maybe you'll find me playing Fall Guys on it, or maybe you'll find me creating hours worth of physics content over the summer. Either way, it's just something I do in my free time. Sometimes when I'm hanging out there, if you need to talk to me immediately and it's like 9 o'clock at night and I'm there, just hit me up. More than happy to help. It's mainly a physics stream, so check that out if you want more Botzert content. What we will be using in class in terms of our live streaming that we're going to be doing is using Zoom. And Zoom's very, very easy to use. There's 2 Zoom links, one for the morning class, one for the afternoon. You simply click it. And whenever you launch the meeting, you just hit Open Zoom Meetings. And the way it will work is you'll go into a live streaming service with me and your classmates. Your camera will be disabled whenever you come in, so nobody will be able to see you. And your microphone will also be disabled. Okay, you can open up your microphone to make it live, so that you could talk, but I can turn you off, and I recommend that you stay muted unless you have an immediate question. Even better than that, though, there is a chat in the Zoom where you can type in a question so that as I'm talking and trying to present something, either directly on the screen or at the board or wherever in the room, you could type in a little question there, and I'll be able to read that and answer your questions as we go along here. Okay. You will need a password to get into our Zoom meetings. That's sitting in our homepage. I'm not going to open that up, but if you go to the rules for Zoom meetings here, you'll see our password to get in, and some rules for the Zoom meetings as well that you are expected to follow. Okay. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's how Canvas works. It's pretty straightforward, super easy, nothing crazy about it. So let's talk about some shortcuts to make your life a little bit easier. If you've never used these shortcuts before, oh my goodness, you're living in the dark ages. Here we go. If on your computer, and I'm using a Windows computer right now, but it's a very similar process with Macs and with Chromebooks. But if you're in like a Google Chrome browser for your internet, and you hold Control and then hit T, so you're holding Control and you hit T, that creates a new tab for you. And you can just keep spamming T and create a bunch of tabs. That's great. So if you need more tabs, there, Control T. If you need to close them out, I've just been clicking all of my tabs closed here, but it's even faster if you just hit Control W, which is window, and it will just close off those tabs, just like that. If you're like, oh no, I just closed out of a tab that I need and I can't remember what that website was and it was like 1,000 clicks to get there, I got you covered. Hold Control, hold Shift, and then hit T. It will bring back your last closed tab. If you hit it again, it'll bring back the one before that. So here's our course module page. If you hit it again, boom, it'll bring back another one. Boom, it'll bring back another one. Okay, so if you accidentally close something out, then hit Control Shift T, bring it back. If you close out the entire Chrome window, open it up again and hit Control Shift T, and it'll bring it all back just like that. It's amazing. Okay, so that's a super important one for a little shortcut there. Some other just like quality of life things. If you're only on one screen, and I'm not exactly certain if this works on a Chromebook, but I know it will work on a Windows machine. For Windows 10, if you've got a screen here, if you drag it into the right-hand side of the screen, it'll snap halfway, and then you can pick something else to go to the other side. So you can kind of have two windows open at once. It'll make life a little bit easier if you're like typing an English essay and then looking at your research, or you're doing some physics problem and you need an equation on the other channel. So that's a nice little helpful tool if you're using that. For Chromebooks, I'm not exactly sure if it works, but you can always, minimize a thing and kind of rescale it to what you want to get that to work as well. Okay, so those are just some helpful little tools as you're going through this to make your life a little bit easier throughout the year, make things a little faster for you as you're going through this, and not as insane. One final thing is if you're using on a Windows machine, if you hold Alt and then tap Tab, it'll open up all of the programs or applications that you have active. And if you keep tapping Tab, it'll cycle through what the active one wants to be. So right now, Chrome is my active tab, but if I hit it again, here's the different Chrome window. And I could make this PDF here the open window. Okay, so it'll allow you to easily shift whatever your active screen is without having to like go down into the taskbar and then opening things up. It just gets annoying over time. Okay, so there's a bunch of little shortcuts. That's how to use Canvas in a short little video, and it's gonna be a fun year. So with that, adios. I'll see you on the next one. At this point, we'll probably start getting into some physics content. See you later.